Okay, well, we are live and I'm putting the recording on now. Uh, and we're starting the webinar.
Hey.
Okay, well, we are live and I'm recording.
Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everyone. My name is Adibowale, and I thank you very much for joining us this afternoon, right here in Mauritius, and morning on your side in part of the continent where you are. So I could see some of our attendees joining in, Alex, Ami, Andrew Owens, Brian Coma. We will appreciate if you can tell us where you're joining from, and that will make it much more interactive for us. Yes, cool. This is some of the... Oh, Mark from Pretoria. I appreciate you, Mark. Good morning over there. No, that should be afternoon over there. Good afternoon from Pretoria. Mohammed, good afternoon on your side too from Egypt. Say Andrew Owens from Cape Town. Guess we have a lovely weather over there this afternoon. Ganesh from Mauritius. Good afternoon to you, Ganesh. That's good. Brian from Zambia. Good afternoon. Michael Paul, good afternoon to you too. Samuel from Ghana, good morning on your side. That's great. I could see a couple of guys in here. Yeah, Frank from Reunion. Good afternoon on your side too. It's good. I would say, okay, Mohsen from Senegal, good morning on your side. We'll give a little more time for the other participants to join in. So we'll be kicking out in the next 3 minutes. Hi, Tiago from Angola, good afternoon on your side. Con, good afternoon from Cape Town. Hi, Mohammed from Libya, good afternoon. Karen from Johannesburg, good afternoon. Geoffrey from Benin, good afternoon to you too. Oh, good morning on your side, if correct. Yeah, so leave. Oh, Craig for Gaborone, good afternoon on your side. So we have 2 more minutes to go. Hi, Ulrich from Madagascar. Good afternoon on your side. It's a lovely weather here today in Mauritius, and I believe it's also the same on yours end too. Hubert from Zimbabwe, good afternoon. Kamga from Yaoundé, good afternoon on the side. Yeah. We have 1 more minute left before we proceed. Okay. So, good afternoon once again from Mauritius, and good morning from other parts of the African continent, countries where you are from. My name is Adibowale Aduloju. I'm currently the Senior Learning Experience Designer for AFRINIC. Today we'll be discussing and also have my panelists with me and other gentlemen from the non-com and also from the e-com side. So as mentioned, my name is Adibowale, the Senior Learning Experience Designer for AFRINIC. Then I have with me my panelists, Mrs. Sadia, who is currently the chairperson from non-com. We have Mr. Mr. Geoffrey from West African part, Mr. Halbert from Central Africa. Then we have the other gentlemen from Professor Madara from South Africa, Mr. Godfrey from the Eastern Africa, and also Mr. Yagnat from the Indian Ocean. So we also have our panelists on this session, where we have the Mr. Krishna, who is currently the chairman for ECOM. We have Mrs. Madvi as a senior IP resource specialist, and also we have Mr. Kison, who is currently the head of registry. So these are the bodies of the ECOM, and also they'll be joining us for the panelists today. So before we proceed, we'll leave the floor for Mrs. Adia, who is the chairman of the non-com, for our presentation. So Mrs. Adia, you can proceed on your end.
Thank you so much. And this is Hadia El-Minyawi. I welcome everyone to the AFRINIC July 2025 NOMCOM Community Update. Thank you for taking the time to be with us today. So if we can have the next slide, please. So today we will be touching on the role of the NOMCOM, the call for candidates, the criteria and qualifications, the decision-making process, the NOMCOM decision-making process, how the NOMCOM will be supervising the online voting, announcement of results, and how to communicate with the nominating committee. If we can have the next slide, please. Thank you so much. So the NOMCOM has been appointed by Mr. Dabi, the official receiver appointed by the court. And the members of the NOMCOM are as follows. Myself, Hadia, from Northern Africa, Mr. Geoffroy Bonu, Western Africa, Mr. Albert Kamga, Central Africa, Professor Madara Ogot, Southern Africa, Mr. Godfrey, Eastern Africa, and Mr. Virginie, Indian Oceans. And the NOMCOM, Article 9.1 of the African bylaws mentions that no person shall be qualified for appointment to the NOMCOM if he/she is a candidate for election to the board or is domiciled in a region whose seat is open for renewal during an election. So to comply with the above clause, a NOMCOM member cannot review or finalize candidates from their own region. Decision for that region will be made by other NOMCOM members. Also, the receiver will not by any means participate in NOMCOM's discussion on the merits of any candidate. And both those bullet points are already mentioned in the guidelines. If we can have the next slide, please. So the functions of the nominating committee are already mentioned in Article 9.3 of the AFRINIC bylaws. And as I walk you through the slides, we will see how the NOMCOM is fulfilling this role. The NOMCOM shall call for candidates, prescribe criteria and qualifications for eligibility, review candidates prior to finalizing the list of candidates, and shall finalize the list of candidates for any election held by AFRINIC. The NOMCOM also will use its best effort towards ensuring that a satisfactory number of individuals from the African Internet community stand as a candidate for the election of the directors of AFRINIC, and also the NOMCOM has general responsibility responsibility to supervise the conduct of the polls by the election committee on election day. And we will see also how the NOMCOM will be able to fulfill this requirement with the online voting process. If we can have the next slide, please. So the call for candidates already happened on the 15th of August. It will remain open until the 29th of August. The nomination forms were available on the 19th of August. So the call of candidates is open. Interested members and prospective candidates, you may submit your nomination at the link shown on screen, and it's been announced and advertised on the AFRINIC website. Term of elected board directors. So directors appointed shall hold office for a term not exceeding 3 years. And the reason we added this time not exceeding 3 years is that there is a requirement in the bylaws for a rotation of board seats. In order not to, at some point in time, to have all seats due for re-election. So in order to abide and comply with this requirement of the bylaws, the forthcoming elected board, and within only 1 month of being constituted, will agree on the terms of the board members. So as an example, they may agree that region 1 and 2 will the term will be 1 year. 4 and 5, the term will be 2 years, and for example, 5 and 6 will be 3 years, whatever they agree on. But the point is that they need to agree on restating the terms in order to comply with the rotation of board seats. And they cannot do that by exceeding the 3-year term. They need to adjust it within the adjust the terms within the 3-year term. So this is something new that was also introduced by this new election process. If we can have the next slide, please. The criteria and qualifications for eligibility to stand for election. So we start with a nomination, and a nomination for seats 1 to 6 and 7 to 8. The nominator must be from the same country as the candidate. As for the seconder, for seats 1 and 6, the seconder must be from the same sub-region as the candidates. And for seats 7 and 8, the seconder can be from any AFRINIC region. And I have put screenshots to the form that's available online, which also includes those two items. So the review process for nomination applications starts with the nomination committee, reviewing all applications received by nominees. And we have already started reviewing the applications that we have received. The nomination committee, after the initial vetting by the election committee, reviews and confirms the information shared by the election committee regarding nominees' minimum eligibility criteria, which includes verification to the nominator, the seconder, and other requirements that are present on the web page. If we can go to the next slide, please. So those are the new specific evaluation criteria, but let me go back again to the minimum eligibility criteria. As mentioned, the committee, the nominating committee, after initial vetting by the election committee, reviews and confirms the information shared by the election committee regarding nominees' minimum eligibility criteria. Requirements such as mental and financial standing, a clean criminal record, last 5 years, compliance with Mauritian law, all of this will be conducted by a third-party firm that will conduct background checks and due diligence on every candidate. So this is again something new. The nomination committee may conduct interviews with nominees not automatically rejected by virtue of failing to meet the minimum eligibility candidate criteria. This is to give candidates an opportunity to explain and demonstrate evidence of any skills or experience claimed in their application and or not clear to the NOMCOM. So the specific evaluation criteria includes explaining AFRINIC's role within the global internet ecosystem, describing the candidate's understanding and commitment to the multi-stakeholder governance model, describing any previous board or organizational leadership experience, describing skills and experience in business management and leadership, describing any experience in one of the fields, legal, policy, telecom regulations, network operations, internet services, or nonprofit governance in Africa. And confirming, of course, that no history of conflict, there is no history of conflict of interest, confirming other commitments such as commitment, integrity, familiarity with financial statements, and budgeting. Again, the nominating committee may conduct interviews, and those interviews will take place based on the submitted nomination applications and will assess candidates against the specific candidate criteria. All interviews will be recorded for transparency and documentation purposes. At the conclusion of the interviews, the nomination committee will consider all successful nominees for confirmation as candidates. If we can get the next slide, please. So the background checks. So I've already mentioned this. So the main development here is the introduction of formal background checks by an independent third-party company to verify compliance with detailed eligibility criteria and confirm that the information submitted by the candidate is accurate. So if we can get to the next slide, please. So the decision-making process, the NOMCOM will review and assess all candidates. The NOMCOM will finalize the list of candidates. A NOMCOM member cannot review or finalize candidates from their own region. Decision for that region will be made by other NOMCOM members. We already mentioned this. And the decision of the NOMCOM may be made by majority vote, with a NOMCOM chair having the casting vote. This is according to the guidelines, Article 3.9. However, the NOMCOM mostly works by consensus. If we can have the next slide, please. Supervising the conduct of the polls by using the votes voting platform. So this is also a new item. So now we have a new electoral platform, which is the voting platform. As you all know, that the elections will take place only online, no proxy voting or power of attorney. To cast a vote, the designated voter authentication will include ID and facial recognition. And again, this is important to note. And then the new thing also that the NOMCOM will be able to monitor the elections in real time without, of course, compromising voter confidentiality, without knowing who voted for whom. And this will be done through a dashboard, a votes monitoring dashboard that NOMCOM members will be able to have access to. If we can have the next slide, please. According to the guidelines, the chair of the NOMCOM announces the election results. And then one more thing here, that all confirmation codes corresponding to accepted ballots will be published. So this allows all voters to confirm that their vote was counted for and was not altered. This will also allow the non-com to be able to audit the results against the confirmation codes and against the received confirmation codes. So if we can have the next slide, please. So if you have any issues, please communicate those issues to the nominating committee at nomcom25 at afrinic.net. With that, I will stop and give the floor back to Mr. Adolujo. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mrs. Adia. Really appreciate your time out there. So I need to just, before we proceed, I need to just quickly get our panelists ready for a couple of questions that needs to be answered. This is in line with some of the concerns that most of our members do have regarding this upcoming election. So my first question we have to go out in terms of just a minute.
If I may, we do have a question from Mr. Kishna with regard to the board. He says, if the directors, after having been voted for 3 years, then unilaterally decide to deduce their term, they would be acting against Article 13.5. But it's already stated in the guidelines that the candidates will have a term that does not exceed 3 years. But that does not mean that it cannot be less than 3 years. There will be no other way to actually go with the rotation of board members if they do not do that, if they do not agree on changing the terms. Otherwise, in 3 years' time, we will have all seats due for re-election. So in 3 years, if actually anything goes wrong, if the time is again is extended for any reason, you will have no board. And that's the problem we are trying to avoid here. And this is also why the bylaws, when did account for this when they mentioned the need for a rotation.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much, Mrs. Hadia. Just a little reminder that if we have any questions, kindly use the Q&A option. And also, because that's where I'll be focusing on in terms of getting the audience question out to the panelists. But before we get to the audience aspect, we have some couple of questions for the non-com. Number one, while going through your presentation, there are couple of questions I want to ask in terms of what makes this the 2025 board election unique, and why is it important for the members to participate?
Mr. Kamga, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Chairperson, and thank you very much, the moderator. Good morning or good afternoon to all the participants to this webinar. This 2025 election is really unique because you know that, or the community should know that since 2022, if I am correct, the AFRINIC is being run by a receiver. And it is very important to go back to the normal operation of AFRINIC. So that is why it is very important for all the members to nominate their voters and to really take part in this election so that we can have a legitimate board that will appoint a normal CEO for AFRINIC. I don't know if I have to go further, but that is why at NOMCOM we really believe that it is important for members to take part and to really be active in this process so that we can come out with a strong board that will rule, that will operate AFRINIC in a good manner at the benefits of all the members. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Kanga. We heard from you about to encourage the members to participate in this upcoming election. And I have one more question, but two more questions for the NOMCOM. Number one, secondly, I wanted to ask that do you want to outline the review process for nomination applications? That is, including who reviews them and how eligibility is checked and what steps are taken when issues arises.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I can take this and then leave the floor for the rest of the NOMCOM members. So the review process for nomination applications starts with the nomination committee reviewing all applications received by nominees. And we have already started reviewing the applications that we have received. The nomination committee, after initial vetting by the election committee, reviews and confirms the information shared by the election committee regarding nominees' minimum eligibility criteria. Requirements such as not have been adjudged to be of unsound mind, not to be an undischarged bankrupt, clean criminal records for the past 5 years, compliance with Mauritian law. All of this will be verified by a third-party firm that will conduct background checks and due diligence on every candidate. So the nominating, after that, again, the nomination committee may also conduct interviews with nominees that are not automatically rejected by virtue of failing to meet the minimum eligibility candidate criteria. So this is to give candidates an opportunity to explain and demonstrate evidence of skills that are not clear to the NOMCOM. And as I mentioned before, that those interviews will take place based on the submitted nomination applications, and all interviews will be recorded for transparency and documentation purposes. So at the conclusion of the interviews, the nomination committee will consider all successful nominees for confirmation as candidates. So basically how this is how, as for issues, as they if any issues arise, please send an email to nomcom25@afrinic.net. So I can stop here and give the floor to the rest of the NOMCOM members.
Okay, thank you very much. I don't want to really focus on the NOMCOM now. I need to now move to the ECOM guide. So still in line of eligibility, now that we have the full understanding of how the nomination, the eligibility around nomination is being done, we also need to look at the terms of the voters also. So I would like to ask the ECOM that what's the process to ensure voters' eligibility?
Okay, thank you, Ade. In fact, just for information, the ECOM had previously run a webinar explaining the overall process for this election. But to come straight to your question, it's quite very simple. It is a resource member which has the right to vote in this election. So when you read, if you have had the opportunity to look at the election guideline published by the receiver, Mr. Devi, there's a definition there as to who has the right to participate in this election. So the eligible resource member has been defined in the definition section of that document. And basically is that any resource member who has been with AFRINIC, has signed an RSA, a valid RSA rather, and is in good standing, that resource member, subject to, there's a court order that is connected to that eligibility. So they will be able to designate a voter, because the member here is normally is a company as defined in the bylaws. So the company would need to designate someone to vote on its behalf. And that is what we call the designated voter. So an executive officer of that company would delegate someone a voter. So at ECOM level, we receive that delegation of authority, which is validated. In other words, the authenticity of that document is confirmed. We do all the necessary background checks, and then a confirmation email is sent to that member, so the representative of that member. And if the application we find to be incomplete, we are doing several follow-ups with those concerned. So far, I'm just being imparted with some figures. It's very encouraging. We have received so far an approximately some 566 applications, which is very, very encouraging. And out of this 566, 376 applications have already been validated. So all the necessary checks have already been completed, and we have about 170 applications which are yet to be validated. So once these members have been validated at the level of ECOM, so the next step of completing the voter registration is to go then on the platform of votes, the votes voting platform, not for voting just yet, but to provide their biometric data. So all it requires is to create an account there. You will be asked to provide a copy of your ID, logically the same ID that you have provided to us when registering for this exercise. You'll be asked to provide a selfie, and then they will capture your biometric data, which will be stored on their database, so that on the voting day, when you come, you will, obviously, the service provider will send you a link with a unique code. So when on the voting day, when you go for voting, so since they already have your biometric data on their database, they will have that to compare, effectively verifying who is actually coming to vote. So that ID verification then will take place. So in a gist, so the voter registration process is of two stages. One, we have the first stage is about document and authority verification, which is done at the level of ECOM. As you know, ECOM is made up of staff as per the bylaw. And the second stage is about providing your biometric data. At AFRINIC, we don't have the mechanism and ability to do that. So that's why we retain services of that service provider. So very, very important. You will not be able to go to proceed for voting if you have not gone and completed that second stage of that process. So just bear in mind that once you have, as a reminder, once you have completed the first stage, you will still have to complete the second stage of the process so that you are effectively able to vote. Unless there's any other question, Adi, I think that basically summarizes that whole process.
Yeah, thank you very much. Also, thank you very much for the stats that you gave. And we'd just like to remind our members that Tuesday 26th will be the deadline for registration to designate your voters. So we encourage you and also others to quickly appreciate if you can come and do the needful. Then I have one more question for either Ecom and non. So it's always been around, it's a question around many of the members, they've expressed their concern over frequent changes and increasing requirements. How do we balance the need for compliance and security, also ensuring the process remains accessible and not overly burdensome?
So who you should give the question to?
Yeah, either non-com or Ecom. So either of the two, or maybe both parties can actually take the question.
For non-com, I will give the floor to the non-com members.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know if another member would like to take the floor, but what I can say concerning that issue is that it is not really a change, but we have tried to come out with some clarification to make things clear to everyone. For example, that it is to members to nominate the candidate, and the other measures published on the website. The aim is just to make clear and to make sure that the election is really transparent, and that we will not face some cases for which one voter will have voted for on behalf of a company to whom he doesn't belong. So it is mainly clarification, no additional rules. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much
it's
for
Rosny
that.
here. So from NUMCOM. So I'd just like to add that, okay, in fact, we want to be sure that this is a last process. So that's why we have been maybe more having like a specific evaluation criteria so that we have the best candidates for this election. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I would like to put it out there for the Ecom before we move to the audience Q&A. We just have about 2 more questions for Ecom. One which is like, so in the case I missed the deadline, so what are the consequences for missing the registration deadline?
But well, there's a purpose for having a deadline, and so far we've been communicating. We've been in terms of encouraging members to participate. It is a membership-based organization. It is the right and prerogative of the members to elect a board of their choice. And so, obviously, at some point in any process, there has to be a cut-off time, cut-off date. So if you have, if a person misses the deadline, then it would be very unfortunate that for that particular entity, particular resource member, which is why we urge members, we urge everyone present, everyone directly or indirectly connected or involved in this election to have a look at our timeline, which is published on the webpage, the AFRINIC election webpage, which also is incorporated in the election guideline, so that you don't miss this opportunity to participate in this very important election. Like one member of the NUMCOM mentioned, this should be the election to reconstitute a board. I'm sure each and every one of you would agree that such an important organization for the continent cannot continue without a correct board. We've been like in this situation, in this governance vacuum, since June 2022, 3 years already, and it's high time to have a correct board. Having said that, I'm also I'm aware of the concerns from the community regarding what you mentioned earlier on about the compliance with the bylaw. and ensuring that everything is done in a legal manner. Well, this is why we know there are certain provisions that cannot strictly be met in terms for the purpose of this election, which is why, and I am aware that the receiver, Mr. Debi, has obtained external independent legal opinion and advice on that aspect. And obviously, such advice is confidential and privileged by nature. But I myself, being the legal officer, also for AFRINIC, if there was anything not according to the law, I myself would not have been a member of ECOM. So that, for me, should reassure members of the community that the spirits of the bylaw is being adhered to. Right? It is not the first time, even if those who were present somehow during the last election process, you would have seen, because it's already in the public domain, that there have been cases going before the court, and the court is well aware that certain provisions cannot strictly be met. And this is why the spirits of the bylaw must be met. Thank you, Adi.
Okay, thank you very much. Really appreciate you for your time out. And because of our timing, we have about less than 40 minutes to go. We would like to proceed to the audience question. We appreciate if everyone can use the Q&A section of the Zoom to drop in your questions. So at the moment, we have 3 questions that we would like to ask. So one from Mohammed Hamdi. Mohammed said, how will you organize our biometric and facial recognition?
There's my colleague Madvi who would like to answer this.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. So since Thursday last week, in regard to all the designated voters who have already received an email from AFRINIC telling them that the verification is complete. So there is one batch of designated voters who have already received an email with their credentials to undergo the biometric registration on the voting platform. We are working in batches, so sometime later this week, today or this week, all those who have already received a response from AFRINIC will also receive their credentials. So there is a series of education emails that are going out to them, and they will eventually get the email asking them to register for biometric, their biometric data, and we encourage them to use the details like phone number and their identity document that they've already provided to AFRINIC at that stage. Okay, and we are also following up. So in case of any issues, we may revert back to our resource members. So we, as at AFRINIC, we already are in the loop. We will keep ourselves in the loop in case of issues. So watch your email. It will only be the designated voter who will receive these emails with the link to the platform for registration. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that. There's another question from Mohammed Abubakar. So he said, how do I know that I have successfully registered? And when will the list of approved candidates be announced? Oh, okay. Mrs. Sadi, I see you have your hands raised.
Yes, I will take part of the question and then leave the floor to Econ to handle the rest of the question. So I think Mohammed is like mixing two things, mixing successfully registering as a voter with the nomination of candidates. So designated voters need to register in order to be able to vote. As for the call for candidates, you will find, and it has been posted also, there is a call for candidates that's on the AFRINIC website. And if in order to participate in the call of candidates, you will need to go through this link, and there will need to be a nominator, a seconder. The candidate will need to provide information regarding the required criteria, both the minimum eligibility criteria as well as the specific eligibility criteria. So you will need to fill up the forms and submit them along with the supporting documents. So this is a very different process than the registration process. And the call for nomination began on the 15th of August and is supposed to close on the 29th of August. That's 4 days from today. And the publication of final and the call the final list of candidates will be published on the 5th of September. So I will stop here and give the floor to Eka.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair of NAMCOM. The question was, how do I know that I have successfully registered, and when will the list be announced? So like I said earlier on, once we have validated your application with respect to the first limb of the voter registration process, you will receive an email from us. And subsequent to that, you would be invited by the vote service provider, by votes, to inviting you to come and undergo that biometric data capture. So once that second limb is completed, then you can consider yourself to have completed the voter registration process. So by this, the next important, we're talking about timeline here, the next important date is we have earmarked, as per the election guideline, to publish a provisional voter register on this Friday. So like I said, it's a provisional voter register, which will be followed by final voter register on the 5th of September. The whole purpose of this provisional voter register, of course, once, especially if you come from a particular organization, you've been designated as a voter, then you will have an opportunity for you to verify or cross-verify the information pertaining to your organization. And if there is anything you identify that may not be correct, then you will have the opportunity to contact us, and we will look into that issue if there is one, if there is an issue before the final list, the voter register gets published on the 5th. So just to come back to that voter register, when we will be publishing the provisional voter register on Friday, there will be a column added to also inform you whether you have already completed the biometric data capture or not. So if yes, then you know that you've already completed the whole voter registration process. If not, then it's a hint also for you to go and complete that that second limb. So again, I would emphasize on this. Having submitted your documents to us and having received an email from us confirming that all your documents are okay, you will not be able to proceed and vote unless and until you've provided your biometric data. So that's why the second limb is very, very important, equally important. Thank you, Eddie.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, that's done. There's one more question to go. So that's also from Mohammed Abubakar. Is there a phone number to contact in case of any question? Is it possible to communicate in Arabic with one of your people? Sure, we will do that. We will communicate with you. For now, we have ecom25@afrinic.net as our open channel that you can send your request to. So if you have any issues around the current election and co, you can send your request to ecom25@afrinic.net. So let me go through the chats if there are any other questions there. Okay. There's another question from Mohsen Chirara. He said, any member can nominate a candidate, even if not approved as a voter yet. We'll leave that to... Can any member nominate a candidate, even if not approved as a voter yet? Ms. Sadia, would you like to take that?
Yes, thank you. And then I will leave the floor to the rest of the non-com members. Again, those are two different things. In order to nominate a member, you need, in order to nominate a candidate for the elections of the AFRINIC board, you need to be a member of good standing. And if you need to be a resource member of good standing. And if you are nominating for seats 1 to 6, the nominator needs to be from the same country as the candidate. If you're nominating for seats, non-regional seats 7 and 8, you also need to be from the same country of the candidate. As for the seconder, for seats 1 to 6, the seconder needs to be from the same region, and for seats 7 and 8, the seconder can be from any of the AFRINIC regions. So you don't need to be a designated voter in order to nominate a candidate. You just need to be a resource member that satisfies the criteria in order to that complies with the criteria in order to be able to nominate a candidate. Thank you. I will stop here and leave the floor to Ecom and the rest of non-com members if they would like to add anything to this.
No, I am Kamga, non-com. It should be clear in the mind of the members that it is not necessary to be to nominate voters to do so for a candidate. So we have two different things, and it should be clear in our mind. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Kamga and Mrs. Hadia. I would like to run through the chats. One from Frank Berthold. It said is a designated voter when the biometric and facial authentication process will take place. What is needed in terms of document, passport, pictures, and co. So I think it's asking that when is the next step, that is in terms of registering on the Votes platform in terms of biometric and facial authentication. What are the materials or documents that it needs to provide?
Right, as we addressed this similar issue early on, so once you have completed the first limb, the next limb of the voter registration process is to go and provide your biometric data. So you will receive an email for that purpose. So in a gist, you will be required to create an account on the Votes platform, and you insert your personal details. You will be required to provide a copy of your official ID. So we strongly recommend that if you use a passport when registering as part of the first limb, then you use the same for completing the second limb, so that the process gets through as quickly as possible. So once you provide that, then they will verify the authenticity of that ID document, and then you get a confirmation email confirming that account, and then for the purpose of the voting, you will receive another email providing you with a unique code.
Thank you very much for that. I see Mrs. Sadia already answered Con Sekas. He asked that will the election be anonymous, or would everyone know who you voted for? I see. Okay. Okay, Ms. Sadia, go ahead.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to add, so last week we actually had a webinar or a session with the provider of the votes platform. So as we understood that, yes, definitely 100% the elections are anonymous, but I would like also to mention that after casting, the voter receives a ballot receipt. It's a hash that includes the confirmation code for their selections. So this ensures the voter can independently verify that their vote corresponds to the correct candidate without revealing it to anyone else. It also allows us as auditors to check for completeness, verifying that the number of recorded votes equals the number of eligible cast ballots. It also allows us to check correctness, matching confirmation codes against the published ledger to confirm that all codes are properly represented. We can confirm that the tallying software correctly summed the votes corresponding to each candidate's confirmation code. So I will stop again, and all those confirmation codes will be published after the announcement of the results and within an hour from the closure of the election. So I will stop here. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Mrs. Sadia. I will just pick one or two questions to go before we round up. We have 3 minutes to go. So there's a question from Alexander Salzberger. He asked that do the candidate and nominator have to be from 2 separate ASN and AFRINIC members?
I can take this.
Okay.
So as mentioned before, the nominator needs to be from the same country as the candidates. That's the, of course, in good standing, needs to be a resource member in good standing and from the same country as the candidates. As for the seconder, for seats 1 and 6, it needs to be from the same sub-region, and for seats 7 and 8, it needs to be from any AFRINIC region. Again, those are the only requirements. And I will stop here if other NomCom members would like to respond or elaborate more, and then maybe Ecom can take the floor.
Okay. I think, thank you, Hadia. We need to add that organization have to have become resource member before the 19th of September 2023 also, on top of being of good standing.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Kamga.
If I can add something, there is, when you are a resource member of AFRINIC, you can have IP addresses or ASN or both. So we can have two resource members, but one also having an ASN, but the other not having such resources. So there is no check. We are not checking if they belong to the same. All what is required is that there should be a resource member of AFRINIC. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Kamga and Mr. Yagnat. One last question for Day. That's from Francis Kwabena Boache. he asked that, may I know if the seat for West Africa would be voted for by only voters within West African region? I think same applied to other regions too. I will take that again.
I
Okay,
can
go ahead.
answer that.
Yeah.
Yes. In fact, it has been an established practice at AFRINIC that when it comes to voting, you can vote for any region. This is aligned with the principle itself. When you take, for example, vote seat number 7 and 8, they are for non-regional, called non-regional vote seats. So, no, if you are from a particular region, you are not restricted to vote for that region only. It's not like a typical electoral constituency. When it comes to vote, you can vote for the whole continent.
Thank you very much, Chairman. I really appreciate that question. So it's very important for us to know that you can actually vote for anyone within the continent. One last question. That's from Taufik Olaujo. He said, can we have the list of candidates before we go? This should be for the NOMCOM. So can we have the list of candidates? That's the question from Taufik Olaujo.
Does anyone want to take this question? Can we have the list of candidates? The list of candidates will be published when the NOMCOM finalizes its work. So the list of accepted candidates will be published, as well as the list of rejected candidates. I don't know if this answers the question.
Yeah, it does. Thank you very much, Mrs. Adia. Thank you very much, Mr. Krishna. Really appreciate your time out, and well done for everything you guys have been doing. Okay, Mr. Kamga, go ahead.
The audience, a member of the audience is complaining about the language. He will have liked the communication to be made also in French. So maybe,
okay, yes.
I don't know.
Okay, that's correct. So as for today's webinar, we conducted it in English just to ensure consistency and clarity across participants. So for the subsequent one, we make sure we have both languages on and off. That is an institution whereby we have both the English moderator and also the French moderator. So for today, we appealed that we had to make it much focused on clarity in terms of the communication of this towards this election. Yeah. Thank you very much. Okay, I think that's where we have it. Once again, I appreciate the NOMCOM, and I also appreciate the ECOM out there today. Okay, Ms. Adia, you raised your hand.
Yes, thank you so much. Just a final thing on the language issue. I think even if we are not able to conduct the sessions in both languages, it's always useful to have translation and transcription in French. So maybe if we going forward, if we can always take care that this happens, that will be much appreciated. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So Temitope Odufua, when is the earliest time to take receipt of the recording for this session? Currently, it's being live on YouTube. When we stop the recording, I think you can share the link with everyone, and also that's because the session is being recorded live on YouTube at the moment, so you can have access to it anytime on our YouTube channel. Thank you very much. Do we have any parting last notes for our members from the NOMCOM side and also from the ECOM side? To the chairman of ECOM and also to the chairman of NOMCOM. Yeah.
For me, what I would say is, it's your election. AFRINIC is a membership-based organization. The community of members is out there. It's your election. The prerogative to elect a board is yours. I'm sure you would agree at where this critical juncture the organization finds itself today, and there's a pressing need for AFRINIC to have a board so that it can get back to its normal core function as an ORIR and serves and meaningfully serves the continent. So yes, so my pledge would be to come forward and fully participate in this election process. Ultimately, you, the community, will decide who you select as your board members. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Mrs. Hadia?
I would like to add my voice to Mr. Kishna. Those are your resources. Those are Africa's resources. So please go ahead and register as voters, and please go ahead and nominate candidates. We need to have more candidates because we want voters to have choices, and we also want want AFRINIC to have a functioning board. So this cannot happen without all of you, and so please go ahead and support the elections and protect your resources. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Chairman. We appreciate your time out today. Thank you very much, everyone, to all our members. We also appreciate your time out today. Have a pleasant day. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.